Hello, welcome or welcome back to Masterful Divine Feminine 333. I am Miss Divine and I am so happy that you are here. So, this reading is a very special reading. This reading is for anyone who thinks that they may be on a twin flame connection, more specifically for those who are new to the journey. So this is going to be one of 5 parts. So definitely stick around, like and subscribe to journey with me as we go through the different stages of the twin flame connection. I've broken it up into 5 parts. You may see online that there are more steps, but I've made it into 5 more digestible parts. So the first part we're going to look into today is exactly like what is a twin flame connection, the unique bond and challenges in your connection, as well as any all opportunities that come with this connection and the purpose. Why were you chosen to be on this twin flame path? At first, it may seem like you met the love of your life, and you at this point you may already have experienced your first separation, or second or third separation, and it's quite painful. But there are beautiful opportunities and ultimately your life purpose that you are to find as you embrace your twin flame connection. So we'll discover some of that in this reading, and then later on we'll talk about ways to navigate the challenges and the difficulties in separation. In another reading we'll talk about how to work in communication with your twin flame, and last but not least we'll wrap up this series with living in alignment and harmony. So for those of you that have surrendered to your twin flame connection, many of you are finding yourself living in more alignment and in more harmony. You're finding like your happiness again. um, and that's amazing. So if you have any comments or tips for those that may be new to the journey, feel free to drop it in the chat. For those of you that are new to the journey and you have some questions, again, feel free to drop it in the chat. I am available for personals, but we can talk more about that later. So basically, a twin flame is a spiritual concept describing a deep, intense soul connection. It's like a connection like no other, right? It's you almost look at this person like they were made for you, like they are your other half of your soul, mirroring your strengths and weaknesses, and believed to be a rare and significant connection in life. Essentially, it's like finding your perfect reflection on a soul level, with the idea that one soul splits into 2 separate bodies. So essentially that's like the textbook definition. Essentially that's what a twin flame connection is. It's one soul slipped into 2 bodies. So you and the other person are identical at a soul level, and when you come together you mirror each other's strengths and weaknesses. Oftentimes that leads to a lot of discord in the connection. Sometimes it resembles a narcissistic empath connection, but I want to encourage you to release yourself from using those labels, because twin flame connections typically don't fit those broader terms, right? Like, especially in narcissists. If you are in a situation now with your twin flame and you may be like talking to your friends, your girlfriends about, I'm hearing Becky for some of you, that is so odd. But you're talking to your friend, maybe your friend name is Becky, about your connection. Your friends or your family members, even if you're looking online, may say to you, "Oh, that person is sounding narcissistic," right? And it's not that your counterpart or you don't have narcissistic traits. The twin flame connection is a much deeper connection. It is one that you are a part of, that is to help you align with your soul's purpose, with your life's purpose, right? Like, it's a catalyst for all change, and you and your twin flame both, as one and independently, like, you create this ripple effect for everyone around you. And it only happens when you begin to understand, like, the meaning of the connection and not get so caught up in missing them. So you may be in a connection with your twin flame now, and you may be in separation, and basically you feel like your entire soul has been ripped out of you, right? Like you probably can't sleep, you may be drinking more, you're probably not eating, you may be overeating, like you are completely dysregulated, or you have already experienced that and you're like, holy shit, I've never felt like this ever. Like I've liked people and I've loved people, but I've never felt so down and out. So again, if any of that resonates, please do comment, like where you are, type 333, because basically if you found this page, it means that you you're ready to embrace your connection, right? The challenges that comes with it, to live in alignment and harmony. So twin flames mirror each other. So things that you need to work on, your twin flame is going to display that, right? And vice versa. um, Many believe that meeting your twin flame is a catalyst for significant and personal growth. I also want to mention two things. Your twin flame can be of the same sex, right? So my readings are non-gender based, but I do want to mention that you can be a divine feminine, that's a man dealing with a divine masculine, that's a woman, or vice versa, or you can be in a same-sex relationship, right? So welcome if the same-sex part resonates with you as well. Also, you may think at first that your twin flame connection is a romantic connection, but there are new, I'm reading more and more now that like some twin flame connections can be a platonic connection, right? And that's true. I personally do believe that your twin flame is your perfect half, but somewhere along the journey, one counterpart may not always choose to align with their other counterpart, and the more awakened counterpart ultimately makes a decision to, while continuing to embrace their twin flame connection and their life's purpose, but understanding that that connection is no longer going to serve them in a way that they ought to be served romantically, right? Physically, emotionally, etc. So that was a lot. I know that was a lot, but in a nutshell, you may have recently met someone who is your other half, and they are about to take you on a journey to help you be aligned with your life's purpose. So I'm going to pull a few cards. My page is specifically made for divine feminine. So what I want to do right now is pull a few cards just to kind of see maybe one card where you currently are, and then another card of like guidance of where you're supposed to be, like what is the purpose of you meeting this person that you met. Then we'll get a little bit more into the person that you met, and I will definitely pull some love messages for you, because people love messages from their counterpart. So let's see where you are currently in your twin flame connection. Some of you may be an Aries, I'm hearing, a Pisces, Sagittarius. I think some of you are afraid. You're like, what is going to happen to me? I already feel like my world is upside down. And what I love about this card coming out, hopefully you can see it, that's number 33. And to share with you, part of my own journey was discovering number 33, and I added another 3, and it's part of the channel Masterful Divine Feminine 333, and that is like unleashing your full potential and being more ready than ever to walk your divine path. So this is beautiful. Number 33 is where you are now. So you're literally on the channel created for you. So that's amazing. And we got 2, right? So I love this. So we have 33, which is success, and we have 26, which is tribe, and 27, grounding. So welcome to your twin flame connection. I can say that off the bat, right? You're here on this planet to do amazing things. You may be in a particular career, profession, environment that is not necessarily fulfilling you, and you may be wanting to tap in more into your spirituality. You may think that you have some spiritual gifts, and most likely you do, and you want to find ways to maybe express that, maybe infuse that in your daily lives. You may want to travel more, you may want to ground more. I'm getting a little earth energy. Some of you may be feeling called to like go to a waterfall or something like that. So um palm trees, sunbathing. Yeah, you definitely are needing to probably ground more. So, part of finding this channel is knowing that you're not alone, right? So, number 26, tribe. Some of you, your birthday can be in August, or you can be dealing with a Leo. So tribe, community with the same value. So if you found this channel, if you're listening to this reading, there are others like you. There are others who are also exploring their twin flame connection for the first time. And not every twin flame connection is identical, but I do believe that the values of like it being a catalyst to align you to your life's purpose is pretty much the same for all of us. For some others, you know, it can be that your twin flame is married. For others, it can be your twin flame is the same sex. For others, it can be your twin flame is like there's a gigantic age gap. But ultimately, this is a person who has who shares like again one soul split into two, and you mirror each other, and you are the perfect match for each other, even if that's a platonic relationship. And with number 27, I was talking about that earlier, grounding. Yeah, I think that what you're going to discover on this journey is solitude, if you haven't already, and knowing that you cannot control everything that happens in the connection. You cannot control when your counterpart replies to your messages, if they unblock you, if they follow you back on Instagram or any other social media platform, if they're dating someone. Like, you're realizing that you can only take control of the here and the now. And sometimes that may mean going outside and grounding yourself. And if the weather's too cold, that may mean possibly meditating or taking a class or going to the spa or hydrating, right? This connection can be very draining, and it can also mean just taking care of yourself. So for those of you that may have already went through the phase where you weren't eating, or you were overeating, or engaging in behaviors that weren't for your health, that weren't healthy, you're probably realizing how you've completely changed, right? You may have lost like 30 pounds, or you may have gained 30 pounds, you know, a little more, a little less, but you're understanding that you got to take care of yourself, right? You have to nurture yourself. You have to be in the here and the now. So, wow, these are extremely powerful messages. Um, and they're just coming through. So I'm going to try to slow it down, but I can assure you that you are here at the in the right place in the right time. And I know firsthand that the twin flame connection can be extremely challenging, right? And the more you understand that you met this person um, to help catalyze you to live your life's purpose, the more you can detach from the outcome of whether or not you're going to be with your counterpart or not. And detaching from that outcome actually propels the connection forward, actually helps your counterpart, I'm going to say divine masculine, heal, because again, I'm channeling primarily for the divine feminines. If you are a divine masculine watching my channel, you can simply switch the roles. So either way, all of us have the divine feminine and the divine masculine energy within the both of us. And one of the purposes of the twin flame connection is to balance the two. So for those of you that may have had severe past trauma, any sort of past trauma, You may find yourself in a low vibrational feminine energy, which is overgiving, 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 or you may find yourself in a low vibrational masculine energy, which can be very egotistical, right? Those kind of traits that come off like narcissistic traits, like you may find yourself having multiple partners, right? You may find yourself abusing substances. You may find yourself manipulating people. And for those of you that resonate with the divine feminine energy, you may find yourself to be more anxious attachment. And for those of you that resonate more with the divine masculine energy, you may find yourself to be more avoidant attachment. And all of this is just to say that this is where healing comes into play, right? This is where understanding that separation is not here to hurt you and is not here to break your heart. Separation and these connections are here to help you heal. But we'll talk more about separation in another part of in another reading. For this one, I wanted you to really just understand the purpose of what a twin flame connection is, right? And the cards are showing you right now, like you are here, you have aligned to a twin flame connection, you are seeking community support, you are understanding that you need to ground yourself, right? You need to focus on yourself. You're understanding that you need to heal yourself. For some of you, you may actually also be considering therapy, because as your twin flame triggers all of these past wounds, right? It's a lot to take in, it's a lot to digest. And sometimes it's not as easy as having a conversation with your parent or with your loved one and saying, it really affected me when you neglected my needs, right? Like sometimes you get so overwhelmed, or the person that you're having the conversation with is not at all in a place to receive what you're trying to tell them. And some of you may be thinking about therapy. There's so many things that are good for grounding, but I see here that you already have the intent to prioritize yourself, and I can tell you that is an incredible thing to do. That's an incredible thing to do, especially in the early stages of your twin flame connection. And if you haven't made that decision, then this reading is here to remind you before shit goes really bad. I'm not going to lie to you, is to do this, is to find community. You can find community with other members on this channel. You can find community by looking at other readers. Be careful out there with some of these like twin flame websites. Some of them can be cults. So um, you don't need to pay anybody a crazy amounts of money to help you find your twin flame. I don't believe in that. Please keep in mind that my readings are not to substitute for professional legal advice, right? I'm here as a guide, as someone who has been part of the twin flame journey. I'm here as a guide to help you along the way. I don't think that you can avoid some of the challenges that are gonna come up, but the readings are here to remind you, okay, at this part in your journey, this is really what's imperative for you. Throughout your journey, it will always be imperative for you to be stable and to prioritize yourself in it as much as you can. There are some days where you're going to feel your masculine's energy so much you can't sleep, and you may like want to reach out, you may want to go to their house, you may want to like get a psychic reading, you may become so dysregulated. And I find that Reiki, so if you check out Reiki Rachel on YouTube, she has a lot of great energy clearing, chakra cleansing. So if you have like a Spotify, Amazon Music, or YouTube, of course, right? You can look up like twin flame chakra clearing, and you can just go through each chakras and clear. Cord cutting, I do not recommend cutting cords between you and your twin flame, because it's energetic. It is a connection, it is a contract, and sometimes cord cutting can cause a lot of discord. However, I do recommend visualing you and your twin, right, facing each other and detaching, cutting the negative cords, right? So not the soul contract cord, but like the negative cords. So like let me see, like the push pull dynamic, right? Like any frustration, any anger, any resentment, right? Cut the negative cords around the main cord that binds the two of you together. I strongly recommend that. Taking a break, taking a break, and however you can take a break, so that can be going out with friends, that can be shopping, that can be starting a new creative project, that can just be choosing to not listen to any readings on at this particular time, right? That can be shutting off your phone, that can be playing your favorite music. That needs to be what you decide it needs to be for you, because it is overwhelming. Guided meditation, you can check out my partner's website, House of Negasty. I have to remember to add the link. But Negasty has these great guided meditations that allow you to tap into your higher self and continuously heal. And her meditations are incorporated with sound bath and Reiki. So many amazing tools out there for you to help heal and stay grounded in this twin flame connection. Your twin flame is going to trigger the shit out of you like no other. I don't know how else I could have said it. They really are. You met this person and it's beyond your perfect person, right? It's your other half, and you love the way you made you feel, you love the way you felt around them. I mean, the world can be such a dark place, but with your twin flame in your life, you feel pure magic. The two of you create pure magic. And at some point, there's going to be a separation, which some of you have already experienced. So through each stage of your twin flame connection, it's so important that you remember that you're on a chosen path with number 33, that you remember you have a beautiful soul tribe. And again, if you're not engaging with anyone like on this channel as of yet, you have your ancestors, you have your divine angels, you have your guidance, right? Whatever, whomever you pray to, I always recommend setting up an altar. I think an altar is such a beautiful place to have your prayers and your manifestations, right? Journaling is also really a great tool if you choose to use it. And then again, grounding is so important. And like I mentioned before, grounding can simply mean just taking a break from all of this, right? Grounding is literally grounding and going outside. I find that connecting with your inner child and healing your inner child is also so helpful, right? So there are past life meditations. If you're into that, I recommend that. You can find some really good past life meditations on YouTube as well. You can maybe visit one of your favorite places, or play some of your favorite music, cook some of your favorite foods, hang out with a friend. I know some of you, when you meet your twin flame, it's like you don't want to be with anyone else, right? And no one's forcing you to do that. But if you have your soul tribe, then you're going to find these relationships that are going to help you grow and that are going to help you continue to smile during these challenging times in separation. Wow, another mouthful. I hope you are keeping up with me. Yeah, so this is actually my first deck. This is Angel Guide, and there's a card in here that does not belong in here. What else is new? And it looks like it may be a message from your twin. Deception, mask, illusion, duplicity, look beyond the superficial. Yeah. So a significant part in the twin flame connection is taking off that mask. And a lot of times we say it's like we blame the masculines, but feminines, like you guys wear the mask too, you know. But specifically, if you are in separation now, you may be you actually just may be confused at what the hell just happened. Who and what just came into your life and shook your entire life upside down? And you may be hesitant to accept the lessons that's been coming up in your interactions with this person. For those of you that are in that same sex connection, you may not be ready yet to or you're struggling to identify as homosexual, right? And I understand that can be challenging, especially if you don't care for labels, right? Because you've you may have been attracted to the same sex, but you never really felt this way towards the same sex, and now all of a sudden, like, you have to call yourself gay. Yep. So you may not be ready to identify as that or to accept the label that society has put on you. For others of you, your counterpart is wearing a mask because they, for so long, they have been wearing a mask because of all their past hurts, right? And you have come and you've been knocking on their door. You're knocking in, you're knocking on their awakenings, many awakenings to come, and they're like, hell to the no. So they may engage in behaviors a lot more frequently that aren't good for them. So they may like go through their roster of partners, honestly. They may drink a little bit more. They may post online like everything is great. They may attach a lot more to other people, other friends, and act like you never existed. It's their way of coping with the upheaval that they just encountered by meeting their counterpart. It's by no means for you to obsess over it. It's for you to ground, right? It's for you to continuously find yourself back in a state of grounding. So let's get some messages here from my first deck, which is the angel guide, and see the advice for you while you are understanding what your twin flame connection is, right? So we have, right away, I have to say that it's it will always and most and foremost be for you to be happy, to know that you are on this magical path of helping others, healing yourself, healing generational trauma, like, and to truly embrace that. I think some of you really do need to ground. If it is cold outside, maybe not the best time, but some of you, your throat chakra, yeah, so there's some throat chakra activation happening, especially as you're expressing the frustration and the confusion and the love and the admiration that you have for your twin flame. And I think that that's where giving it a break could also come in handy. But more importantly, I encourage you to know that as things come up and you're speaking it, a lot of people aren't going to understand the connection, right? And you may get some good advice, but I encourage you to take what they're telling you with a grain of salt. I encourage you to understand while you're listening to this advice, they're seeing it from a very like 3D picture. And twin flame connections are extremely powerful and spiritual connections. So it's not that their advice won't help you, but please do take it with a grain of salt, because in some cases it could harm you and it could harm the connection. What you need to do, your advice is to ground. Your advice is to understand that this is a spiritual connection unlike no other, and it will be a roller coaster ride, but in some ways it's also one of the most like vibrant, magical roller coaster rides you'll ever experience. And to embrace the change, especially if you are a fixed sign. I'm talking about my Tauruses, my Capricorns, and my Virgos. We don't do too great. I'm sorry, I said earth signs. My fixed signs, right? So not necessarily earth, but fixed placements. So we have Taurus, Scorpio, and I can't even think of the other. But if you are a fixed placement, you're not necessarily the most open to change, right? And this connection will definitely help you embrace change, release those chains that you've been holding on to. You're going to go through so much work with healing trauma, with having conversations with your parents, your other loved ones, your friends, your families. You're going to change the way that you communicate, right? That green chakra, you're going to see that while expressing yourself is incredible, people aren't ready. People aren't ready. People aren't always going to be as receptive. And so it's almost like you're going to have this armor of protection, knowing the best way and how to express yourself, and understanding that sometimes the quietness can create the stillness, and the quietness can create more change. When it comes to communication now with your twin flame, you may be wanting to text them a lot, you may be wanting to call them a lot, you may be wanting to go over the arguments, right? I'm here in grocery store. Maybe some of you had an argument in a grocery store, but anyway, you may be wanting to go over like everything, like the shopping list. You guys fought over a shopping list, but you may be wanting to go over the arguments. You're playing it back in your mind, and you just think that, well, if I talk to my counterpart about this, then we can fix it. And you can journal about it, but you will want to allow the space. You will want to allow the space for healing, because a masculine who is in this energy of deception is not a masculine that is going to serve you. That's a masculine that's going to continue to bring you down, and keep you in a very stuck place, right? And not, it's almost like the roller coaster, when it's going up, it's going up, like it's just going to stay there, and you're not going to be able to go on the ride. Like there's going to be ebbs and flows, ups and downs, ups and downs. So separation is coming through a lot in this reading. And I think that because a lot of you are probably in your first, second, or third separation, embrace the separation, work on the healing within yourself. So power and intention, right? It also allows the masculine to heal themselves, to um, focus on the things that they have been neglecting, right? It starts to allow them to be more focused on wanting to live in their truth. And it's not a overnight process, but the more space you allow in the connection, the more it harmonizes. And here we have romance and connection, and that's usually like a how do you say, a reunion, right? So this is what you felt like, perfect counterpart. You've gone through the separation, some healing happens, and then you come back into union again, and chances are there will be another separation, because the counterpart connection is a continuous connection of growth and healing, until you reach the part where both of you are living in alignment and harmony. And it doesn't mean that there won't be growth and healing. It just means that you guys are both on the same page of embracing the connection together, right? So maybe you're on the roller coaster right now, but your counterpart is in the front, or you're in the back, vice versa, you're not in the same seat. And at some point, you may even switch rides that aren't as turbulent, but you're going to be seated together, versus continuously going up and down, up and down, up and down, and continuously being separated from each other. So, wow. Let's see what else we got for you here. Take charge and action. Yeah. So believe it or not, the separation does allow your counterpart, especially if your counterpart is a masculine, to take charge and action of the connection. When the divine feminine, right, that pink energy, feminine energy, when that divine feminine surrenders to the connection, the masculine steps up, right? Because you freak them out, right? You freak them out. They are, I'm laughing, but it's nothing funny. They, all of so much of their trauma that they have what they thought successfully buried, is creeping up. And it's not that they're blaming you, they're just afraid. They're afraid of themselves. It's almost like sometimes they're afraid of healing, because they don't want to relieve that. They don't want to relieve what they've put away, and have managed to live their life perfectly fine. So they think, until you came in, and now you come in, and it's just like Pandora's box is open. And they're like, absolutely no. I made a decision a long time ago that this is the life I'm going to live. This is the type of partner that I want. And when you come in, You're the complete opposite of that. You could be actually the same sex, and that person may have decided for a long time they want to be with someone of the opposite sex. You can be, there can be a crazy age gap. You can be a younger, person dealing with a much older person. They're like, well, I can't do that. Um, Completely different religions and opposing religions, right? Opposing religious beliefs. That's a lot. That's a lot for your masculine to work through. But as you surrender, as you work on your communication skills, as you work on creating more secure attachment and not such an anxious attachment, your masculine is now stepping into his power, right? I said his, I apologize. But your masculine, they're stepping into their power, and yeah, divine timing. Trusting in divine timing is something you're going to hear a lot on the twin flame journey, and it's it can be a challenge because you may still want to know, like, well, when, but trusting in divine timing is knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. The more inner work you do, see, like that illumination here, the more inner work that you do, the more self work that you do, you move the connection along, and you move the connection along in a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful way. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to get you a love message from your counterpart, or whatever message wants to come out from your counterpart as you are embracing, understanding this divine connection, and why you were here. And then I would then love to get you angel whisper card. Also, with your counterpart journey, you may see a lot of angel numbers, a lot of synchronicities. No, you're not crazy. That is that is your angel guides talking to you, reminding you that you are on this divine connection. That's sometimes, if you see an angel number, especially if you're thinking heavily about your counterpart, your divine masculine, you can look up that angel number and see what twin flame messages are there for you, what life purpose messages are there for you. You definitely may be seeing 1111 a lot, 111 a lot. And your masculine may post songs, you may think it's about you, and all of that very much could be true. I really do just want to encourage you to focus more on you, with that healing work, with that past life trauma work, right? For those of you that seek therapy, again, tarot is not to substitute for professional advice. So it definitely is your judgment call. But for those of you that are being guided to do something to help you heal, then know that continuously stalking your masculine continuously, right? Like, you want to set some healthy boundaries with that. You want to make sure that at the end of the day, you little by little are improving yourself. And some days aren't going to be great. Some days aren't going to be great. Some days you're not going to do anything at all to improve yourself. But guess what? You got through the day and you had the intent. So even if you find yourself stalking a little bit more, crying a little bit more, keep going. Definitely keep going. If you like journaling, I will definitely recommend journaling. So let's get this message for you. Of course, right? So I miss the way I feel when I'm around you, and you're my everything. And this is definitely how your masculine feels, and this is also how you feel. And it's to trust that they are missing you, and they love you too. They love you too. Even if you were first to say it and they haven't said it, they do. But this journey is a catalyst to someone completely changing their life. And that's not something that counterparts are always ready to do when we meet each other. But the journey allows you to embrace it. The journey allows you to understand that that's what we're here to do. So I'm healing. Please be patient with me, right? And even though you're not with me, my love for you grows every day. Yep. And I don't know if I said it, but even if you told your masculine that you love them and they didn't say it back, your masculine loved you. For some of you, your masculine were the ones to say it first, actually, feminines. And you were like, wait, what? I love you too. You didn't even know how and why. You just knew that you did. So do be patient. For those of you that are embracing the journey and becoming more and more comfortable with understanding the twin flame journey, your masculine is always going to be behind you. Always. You, feminine, are leading the journey. And again, it's it's by default, right? So you're not healing for them. It's just by default that as you heal, they heal. And it's important for you to make sure that you're healing for all the right reasons, that you're loving on you and you're being the best version of yourselves for you. Your masculine is gonna lag, and that can be disappointing and frustrating, but they ask that you be patient with them. Gratitude, right? So sometimes you may get stuck in the feeling of like missing them, which is okay, but I also encourage you to practice gratitude, right? So look up like the best ways to practice gratitude, but being so grateful for having met your counterpart, being so grateful for having someone come into your life that improves you in a way that you change so many people by just who you are. Like your masculine is a catalyst for you changing. Now you change like so much generational trauma. You may create some sort of, I don't know, YouTube channel, something even bigger than that. Your interactions with people, you're helping change people that you're interacting with at work. Your friends admire you, your loved ones admire you. You may have had family members who have been stuck in abusive relationships, and them watching you like live your life of purpose is such a huge like catalyst for them changing. So I'm going to get this angel number for you, and it's 911. It's courage. The doorway has opened for you, and while apprehension may be felt, allow courage to flow in as you put your best foot forward. You are being encouraged to let curiosity lead you and know that the divine has your back. Your affirmation is, I allow courage to prevail as curiosity leads me through new doors. Yep. So embracing your twin flame journey is one of courage. It's knowing that once you continue to take the bold step, you're going through the right door and you allow courage to prevail, and curiosity leads you through new doors. So it's not about being stuck anymore in, oh my God, like I met this person and they were so incredible and now we're not talking. Yes, that is a fact, and that is disappointing, but it's also like, but I know that this person was my twin flame, is my twin flame, and I know that I have a divine purpose. So angels and ancestor guides, I call upon you. I ask you to help me figure out what my divine purpose is. Archangel Michael is definitely very helpful, like in the beginning stages of your twin flame um, connection, right? Lots of power, lots of strength, and meditating, right? For those of you that are open to meditating, definitely meditating, doing some past life regressions are definitely good ways to help you see. Not well, it also shows you, you could also see the past connections that you've had with your twin flame and what was broken in those relationships, which is playing out now. It allows you to have the courage to heal what you need to heal within yourself. Yep. So just as a reminder, right, as we mentioned earlier about twin flame connections, some twin flame connections are platonic, and some twin flame connections, that is your perfect person to be in a romantic relationship with. Either way, the purpose is going to be the same. The lessons may be different and the trauma may be different, but the purpose is going to be the same. And it's to heal yourself, it's to love yourself, is to catalyze you into living your divine purpose. Some of you may like, to hell with this shit is too difficult. And you may see, if you haven't already, that it's not so easy to walk away from the twin flame connection. You could walk away from the person, but not the connection, not what you contracted to do this lifetime. So I encourage you to take time for you. I encourage you to be patient with your divine masculine, as they are always going to lag behind you, and they may not be yet fully open to the idea of this connection yet with you, right? Because you may find that your masculine seems to be very much open to other soul connections with other people, but with you, my dear one, it is going to be different. You're going to mirror each other. You're going to trigger each other in ways unimaginable, right? Your counterpart, your twin flame, is going to make you react and do things that, one, you thought you had completely changed, especially if you are an anxious attachment, and they're going to trigger things in you didn't even know existed, right? You didn't even know that you had such a bad temper. You didn't even know that you could cry so much. You didn't even know that you would drink so much or eat so much, or whatever it is that's not for your highest good. So yeah, um, ultimately, it is a divine connection. It will always be a divine connection. There is someone out there that has the same soul as you, just in another body. One usually carries more dark energy and the other carries more light energy, but either way, you trigger both in each other. You highlight what needs to be healed in each other, right? So great reading. Thank you so much for watching. I think the next reading we're going to dive in more into dealing with the challenges of separation. If this reading resonated with you, please do like and subscribe. Type 911. 911 emergency. I'm in a twin flame connection. That's funny. Type 911 in the description box if this reading resonated with you. I do have a 1111 special on my website, masterfuldivinefeminine333.com. That 1111 is like a 15-20 minute conversation where we can briefly talk about your connection. Just, if you had more questions, if you really wanted more confirmation, if you are on a twin flame journey, if you wanted to get to know me a little bit more before you were to possibly step into doing a more longer personalized reading. So I do recommend that. I am so happy you are here. I am excited to walk along this journey with you. Um, you'll get to know a little bit more about me and my twin flame journey. And some of you may also actually have had a journey with a high level soulmate, right? So we can definitely talk about that a little bit more. So thank you so much for watching, and take care. We will chat soon.